Civic is back on the ramp and it's service time. It's the day before we head over to France for Honda Euro Meet, where we're going to be taking a whole host of UK-built FK2s, FK8s and FL5s over to France to showcase some of the Honda tuning scene over here in the UK. As for today, we've got the FL5 back on the ramp. As you would be aware, looking back at some of our previous videos and some of the socials, you would know that our car has been out on track and seen some hard miles over the last couple of years. It's been driven by Misha over the Nurburgring, which if you go back and watch that video, that's quite an entertaining one. It's also had Sid North taking it around Goodwood circuit, and I've also been out at a few tracks myself as well. The car's covered 12,500 miles in the last 2 years, so it's due for its oil change, but we're also going to be doing the valve clearances ahead of schedule. They're usually due at 25,000 miles or every 2 years. But more often than not, on the first adjustment, we find that the valves are quite slack, and we're expecting pretty much the same with this. Whilst we've got the car on the ramp, we're going to be looking at a couple other things. As I mentioned, we've got a long trip to go on, so we're going to be replacing the rear pads as they've also worn down quite quickly already. And we're probably going to have a look at the gearbox oil. It's notorious for synchro failure on the FK8s, and we just want to whip out the filter, see if we've got any swarf in there, and just maintain that what is already a good working gearbox. We hope that we can still keep it that way, and we've got no signs of any wear. So the guys made a start on getting the car onto the lift for us and getting the rocker cover removed, the oil's drained and the engine has cooled down to the temperature that we need it. Obviously bearing in mind we have to adjust the valve clearances when we've got a cold engine, or I think it is below like 46 degrees Celsius. But for now we're going to get the engine rotated around to top dead centre. You'll put the valves into line. We've got nice handy markers on top of the cam pulleys to notate which valves that we're going to then adjust. So for now, I'll go and grab some tools and we'll meet back up in a second. So to get yourself to this point, you're probably quite familiar with this already if you've ever done spark plugs on your car or even changed the rocker cover itself. It's quite self-explanatory. 10mm bolts across the coil packs, 10mm bolts around the rocker cover itself, and then you'll have a few other various bits of wiring loom and pipe work. Again, quite self-explanatory. Just get all of those removed so you've got good access across the top of the valve train. Now from there, you're going to want a valve clearance adjustment tool. Now this one here I've got is a Blue Point and it's part number YA8895. I've had this 25 years, so if you buy yourself some quality tools, they're really going to last you. Just if they're specific tools for a certain job, look after them, keep them clean, and they will last you a lifetime. So for now, I'm going to get the crankshaft rotated around to top dead centre, and that will then, like I say, denote what valves I'm then going to be adjusting. Hear the compression on the engine there. And from there, that's telling me that I need to adjust valve number 1. And you'll be able to tell this by lifting the valve body itself. You can hear that. Okay, so they're ready to be adjusted. We'll need our feeler gauges now. We'll then tuck them in and get a feel for how that valve is sitting. So valve clearance measurement wise, we're going to be setting to 9 and 11. So 9 and 11 actually rounds out to 0. If I round it up slightly, it's 0.229 millimeters and 0.279 millimeters. Obviously the wider going on the exhaust. So we're just going to tuck this in on top of the valve head. I'm going to feel for any drag across the back. First one feels okay. Alright, so what you may notice if you're adjusting your own valves is obviously the exhaust valves are independent. You've got independent valves across both of the VTEC cam lobes, whereas on the inlet cam we're running off of one cam lobe and we've got joint rockers. So the joint rockers means you've got a little bit of a balancing act to make against both of the valve adjustments. So as you tighten one, you may find that another one will slacken up, and vice versa. Valve clearance adjustment went okay. Inlet camshaft was quite evenly balanced across the valves. Exhaust cam, we had a little bit of adjustment to make. There was a few that were a little bit too tight and a few that had loosened up. So we got them back into spec. Again, just routine maintenance, making sure that the engine is nice and healthy. That's for today. We'll get the rocker cover back onto the car, we'll get the gearbox oil drained, and we'll get the rear pads thrown into the car as well. I mentioned at the start of the video about buying quality tools that will last you a lifetime. Now that can be said about most hand tools that you're going to be using as a mechanic on your engine. However, for feeler gauges, I would suggest getting these replaced quite regularly. Remember, these are a fine adjustment tool, so you want to make sure that these are in spec and you're not using worn down gauges. For this weekend ahead, we're heading over to France. We're about to get the car finished up and on its way down to Dover to get on a ferry. We're going to Honda Euro Meet, where Honda Pro Jason will be coming all the way over from America to join us, along with a few other special guests as well. I'll reveal those later in next week's video. So if you're interested in following along for that one, hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, and we'll see you next week.